All right, here we go. Okay. All right, we might have some other people. Somebody just try to get in? Oh, Lizette's trying to get in. Try let her in. Can you let her in or no? Admit, yeah, we're gonna have to let people in at a time, I think. That's how it works. We'll keep her on mute. So we're gonna keep you on mute for right now until we get started, and we'll probably have people creeping in until
Okay.
everything else gets started. So I'll be going back and forth doing that. So, all right, everybody, we're going to start this little question and answer session here, and just good information session from a good friend of mine, Dr. Steve Matta. I personally go see him. He's helped me and my daughter, Heather, a lot of Heather's friends, and so on and so forth. And I think what I like about him is he's very holistic, and he finds the root of the problem opposed to just poking you with a needle and saying, oh, it's going to disappear. So as you guys know, everything that's going on, and you're hearing different rumors and you're hearing different things that are going on, I like to get a medical professional to help the A Game family. We're going to be recording this, so we're going to probably have a lot of people that's going to see this later on. But even if this time doesn't work, maybe we could do this at a different time, and we can do a little bit of a question answer thing. So I'll just leave it off to Steve. Steve can introduce himself, let him know a little bit about himself and his whole philosophy in medicine. There you go, Steve.
Thank you. All right. Well, thanks, Aaron. And before I get into myself, I just want to thank you, Aaron, for all that you've been doing, with your posts and encouraging everybody during this time. And man, you've also been a great resource for me in our clinic, Meeting Point Health in Maniac. So just I love what you do. You know it. So let me talk a little bit about myself. So I am a board certified family medicine and sports medicine doctor, and I also do medical acupuncture and a lot of just movement medicine. And so, like Aaron said, the thing that's most important to me is getting to the root cause of things. We say at Meeting Point Health, our mission is that we believe everybody has created human potential, and that we don't use, we get to the root cause of things and don't use Band-Aid solutions. And so, so the way I approach things in my practice and just in life in general is, like you said, like a holistic, integrative approach. And so, just getting right down to it, we're in a pretty crazy time. And so today I wanted to talk about this idea of using a more holistic approach to this current time. Yesterday we had the opportunity to go off on our personal rants, and that's something that we're not going to do today. But as I've been talking with folks, I was telling you yesterday, I was talking with my, a family member, and they just sound so discouraged and so fearful to go out and to live their lives right now, even regardless of staying home. Even if the opportunity came about to go out right now, would they? Or is this virus something that we have to be completely afraid of? And so I think one of my biggest passions with this right now is to give folks encouragement and to hopefully be a voice, if they haven't heard it, of once again, encouragement that there is something we can do, and we don't have to be afraid of this virus. And so the conventional medicine approach right now is basically hide from it, right? And wash your hands, stay away, and hopefully, if you can hide from it, you won't get it and you won't get sick, and there won't be the potential for really bad harm. And so I want to offer another approach, which I think is is a better approach, where instead of hiding from it, we put up strong defenses, and we put up shields. We go on the offense and not on the defense, right? So the first thing I wanted to talk about is, let's just talk about viruses, right? So everybody knows that, you know, COVID-19 is this disease caused by a virus, which is known as the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So let's talk about, you know, we have different, what's called pathogens, right? We have bacteria, we have fungi, and then we have parasites, and then we have viruses. So these are all things that can enter the body from outside and cause different things in our body, right? So these are pathogens. And so of these, one of them that we have and that we're exposed to commonly are viruses. So we have lots of different viruses. Most everybody knows that most colds are caused by viruses. There's also things like chicken pox, which is caused by viruses, and there's a whole slew of other things that are caused by viruses. And so the way viruses work is they kind of like, they find their way into the body. So, you know, in a cold situation, someone sneezes in your face and it gets in your respiratory tissue, and then it finds its way to like multiply. And so your body has to recognize that there's a virus and be able to eliminate it. And so, you know, most of us get colds. I mean, some folks are seem to not get colds every year, but you know, the vast majority of us get at least one cold a year or a couple colds a year, and that cold almost always is caused by a virus, and our body fights it, right? The same with the flu, right? So we have vaccines, but say you don't get the flu vaccine, even though your doc recommends it, and you get the flu and you fight it and you're good. So what I want to discuss is, all right, well, how do we go from being exposed to that virus to being done with it, right? And so we have our immune system, right? I think we all know this, that regardless of the pathogen, our immune system is this organ in our body that is able to take care of one of these enemies, one of these pathogens, and make it so that eventually it's eliminated from your body, right? And so with this whole SARS-CoV-2 virus, it's just the same. So let's just say that, for example, we are exposed to it. You know, we know that the SARS-CoV-2 virus is transmitted by respiratory droplets, by the way. That means that if someone coughs or sneezes or breathes, they say within 1 to 3 feet, and it ends up in your respiratory tissue, that is the nose, then now you're exposed to it. Yeah. And by the way, it's a very contagious virus. We know that. And so it's very easy, you know, Aaron and I were talking yesterday and saying that, you know, there's a good chance that someone has breathed in my face with it. They may not have even been symptomatic, and I might have gotten it, and I may not have been symptomatic. This is very common right now. We're finding that 18% of folks are asymptomatic with this. So let's say that this happens. So what can we do to make sure that if we're exposed to this, it doesn't cause really bad harm? And so here's the concept of our immune system. And there's this idea of what's called innate immunity, right? So that means that as soon as the body's exposed to something foreign, the body triggers this switch that says, hey, this thing that I'm exposed to is not normal body. This is something foreign, and I need to deal with that. And so your body goes through a whole, and we won't go into the biochemistry of it, but there's a whole cascade of things that happen after your body is exposed to that your body recognizes it, sees that it's foreign, and then has a whole system of elimination to make sure that that thing it is eliminated from the body. So there's involved in that is, okay, this idea of a properly working immune system. Your body has to have the alarm, and then it has to sort of recruit the white blood cells to that area of infected tissue, and then go through the whole process of eliminating it. Just it works the same with anything. If you have a cut and your body has to recognize that something bad has happened, your body has to resolve that, or you get any sort of infection. So a properly working immune system is necessary. Now, on a side note, the unfortunate thing with COVID-19 and the SARS-CoV-2 virus is that it seems to prey on a weak immune system. And it's really stealthy, by the way. It has these surface proteins that kind of like numb the body's immune response. I keep telling everybody, it's like it gets through the doorway and it takes out the security guards and the security cameras, and then so in someone that doesn't have a great immune system, that's a big problem, because the backups aren't always there to take care of it. And then before you know it, in a lot of individuals, the first thing that we see is something on a CAT scan in the lungs. So that can be scary, but at the same time, we don't use this knowledge to say, oh my gosh, this is so dangerous. We can just take this opportunity and say, all right, well, how do I make sure I have a healthy immune system? And what does a healthy immune system look like? And what do I need to do to make sure that my immune system is working properly? And so a part of this is going to be, all right, well, sometimes we do have medical conditions that hurt our immune system. And that might have been going on before all of this. And part of it might be, is there anything I'm doing right now, any lifestyle choices, anything I'm eating or not doing that might be affecting my immunity as well?
So just to cut you off quick with that, Steve, it's like, that's one thing that I want to talk about. And you kind of emphasize on that too as well, is, there are people that do have compromised immune systems and, no fault of their own. But what are stuff like, as far as eating and then also exercise, how important is that right now in fighting this outbreak right now? How important is that?
So important. This is the offense, and offensive defense, whatever you want. This is the offense I'm talking about more than anything. When it's so my wife and I, we have 2 kids, and every year, when it's like flu season, if I'm starting to hear like flu cases going around, my kids know, my kids are amazing, and no one tell them this, but we're really tough on them diet wise, and so my kids know that if they, and then we're talking about my kids, they're 9 and 11, they know that when it's like cold season, no candy, no bad eating. Because I've taught them, and like we've even watched, documentaries and about sugar and how it affects your immune system. I mean, my kids know that bad eating puts them at risk for getting sick. And anytime they get sick, it's like, well, did you do anything wrong? Oh yeah, Johnny gave me a Snickers at school, and I know I wasn't supposed to do it, but I did it. And I'm like, well, all right, I told you. So it's the same thing for us, is that, okay, yeah, sometimes we have pre-existing conditions, and it can weigh us down, can weigh our immune system down, but it doesn't have to be the be all end all, right? So healthy eating is for sure at the top of things that we can do. And so, there's the bads and the goods, right? So, and now's a really tough time, right? I mean, like if you're trapped inside and you're just like, flipping through stuff on your phone or watching the news and you're just depressed about everything that's going on. Yeah, it's easy to make bad choices. You're like, you know what? Everything sucks anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and eat that ice cream, or I'm just going to go ahead and have that candy or that soda. But understand that there's a huge association between particularly like these super bad foods. So high fructose corn syrup, so soda, any candy, anything that's particularly processed sugars, but I'd say that overall, just like, sugars in general, you got to be careful of. And particularly like the high fructose corn syrup stuff. So we actually know that processed sugars actually blunt our white blood cell response to infection. So that in particular is something that you really want to avoid right now, is the super processed sugars. Now, understand that, okay, and then on the flip side, yeah, eating healthy, I mean, like we're going to talk about some other stuff that you can do, but eating healthy is going to boost your immune system. So understand that white blood cells and the body's immune response, it needs resources, it needs nutrients, it needs vitamins to, it's like, the horse that's doing all the work. Like, you better feed the horse, you better feed the horse good stuff, or else the horse is going to get tired. Or whatever, troops, right? You got to give the troops the right supplies so that it can manufacture the white blood cells that can properly respond to the pathogen and properly get rid of it. Your body needs it, just like it would, if you're going to run a marathon, your body needs resources to run that marathon. It's the same thing. So healthy eating, once again, avoiding the bad stuff. So we talked about sugars. I mean, now, in our household, like, we're really like strict about like even processed grains. So we pretty much avoid wheat, and then oils too. So you got to be careful about the oils. So, a lot of packaged chips and stuff like that, you got to be careful about processed oils like palm oil and sunflower oil and a lot of canola oils and cottonseed oils and stuff like that. Those are just they just really weigh down the body and the immune system. And these are things that we recommend, obviously, on a regular basis. But like right now is like really the time to crack down. And then, okay, so
like, I mean, it's almost like when this first thing started, it's common sense that you need to be washing your hands and sanitizing and stuff like that.
That's right.
Back to what we originally been saying from the get-go, as far as in the health and wellness field, is to, you need to be eating and paying attention to, the sugars. We always talk about the sugars because that leads to something else, because you're going to eat more and all those things like that. Like, I think one of the biggest things that's happening with a lot of our people are, they're forced to make their meals versus eating out. But I'm also seeing a lot of people just doing a lot more baking, and what's usually in baking.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's a common issue that I've been seeing talking to people. So one of the messages I've been trying to get to people is like normal in general, regardless of this, is, diet and exercise is definitely very important, staying active. And then like for you, like I love hearing what you're saying because you're a little bit more specific about different things. Like, I'm actually learning some things here right now too, like
Good.
as far as the oils, I
Cool.
wouldn't even thought about the oils, but definitely the sugars and stuff like that. But I just wanted just to chime in and say
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Yeah. I mean, and then, you mentioned exercise. And so, um, just in there's two realms of exercise, but on the realm of immunity, I mean, and this is something that we know, and I saw you link to a study from the University of Virginia that showed that exercise boosts your immunity and your white blood cells. And this is something now you got to be careful. So like, don't run a marathon right now, because there are times that like, excessive exercise, I don't even know how to just be, but in general, if you're having a sort of a regular non-stressful exercise routine, exercise absolutely boosts your immune system. It's super healthy. We know that your body's better able, particularly this idea, your body's better able uh, uh, to recognize and fight these pathogens due to regular exercise. And it's something, honestly, like we talked about when you and I were chatting yesterday. From the beginning with all this, as soon as this stuff started, like, I ramped up my own exercise because I knew, like, I gotta be strong for this myself. And it's something that we can do in this time, right? It's something that, and these are all measures, once again, without getting into it too much, these are ways that we can be proactive. And so, by the way, Philadelphia is amazing with this. It is, like, so we live here in Maniac, and I ride my mountain bike, to the west, like at least 5 days a week. And, this morning I was there at 7 a.m. and it was nice. You go at 9 a.m., it is packed. And I love it, by the way. I love it. When I see all these people out and exercising in the midst of this, I just like this. It's why I live here. And it's why I love our greater Philadelphia community, because we are active and we have these resources and we use them. You drive down Kelly Drive right now and there's just people out, and I love it. So if the weather's decent, I think it's a great thing to get out, go for walks, or and stay active. If it's not so nice, like it's supposed to, I don't know if it's raining right now, then we have a game streaming classes as well, right? So like, whatever you're
Yeah.
doing, make sure that that you're staying active throughout all of this, and it's great. I mean, I'm loving how active people are being. Um, so we talked about healthy eating. We talked about exercise a little bit. Um, and once again, another side note is that, my wife and I were saying throughout all of this is that, once again, I think that one of the biggest, it's very clear, I think, from the statistics, that the most at risk are folks with bad immune systems. I want to talk about that. So we look at, age, and so it doesn't have to be, by the way, but if we let it go, if we let our bodies age, then our immune system gets affected as we get older, as we age, right? So aging is a huge risk factor for this. And then these other things that, just once again, like, if you look at unhealthy lifestyles, you're just more at risk. And so one of the things that we hope that comes out of all this is that your health matters. Your health matters. It does. So all this stuff that, folks like you and I are, talk about all the time, exercise and healthy eating and nutrition. I hope that, folks come out of this and say, well, at least look at the data and say, you know what, I do see that it seems to be really affecting, and the folks most at risk are those that aren't healthy. My health matters, and my family's health matters. This is a reason for me to change, right? So so in addition to what we can best do for our own lifestyle, there are some other things I want to talk about and recommend that we can do on top of it, because we need a healthy working immune system. But how do we boost it a little bit? How do we make sure that our immune system is on hyperdrive right now, recognizing pathogens and eliminating them, right? So there's a couple things that are easy and accessible that you can do. So the first one is, so the first supplement is vitamin C. And so vitamin C, usually you can take an oral supplement. We recommend at least 2 grams. And once again, this is adults. So 2 grams of vitamin C a day. And if you do think you might have come down with it, we recommend bumping that up to 4 grams a day. Can boost your body's immune system. Now, listen, I am not allowed to say that vitamin C will treat COVID-19. I repeat, I am not saying that vitamin C or any of these supplements treats COVID-19. Okay, I've said it. Yeah. I can say that there have been studies, and one of the things I didn't say is that the reason we call it SARS-CoV-2 is because the first SARS virus that came out in 2000, I'm blanking, 2002, right? I think it was 2002. We'll just call it 2002. In China, the first SARS, that was the first SARS virus. So it just so happens that SARS-CoV-2 looks just like SARS-CoV-1. So when they were treating in China for the first SARS, I can say that one of the things they did was use IV, intravenous vitamin C to treat and successfully treat the SARS virus. I can also say that there have been a lot of studies, once again, from China, Korea, other parts of the world, where they're using intravenous vitamin C to treat it. Okay, I can't comment on that. That's all I'm saying is that there are studies that verify the use of vitamin C to treat active infections, by the way. Now, right now, we're just talking about boosting your immune system. And so in order to boost your immune system, one of the supplements that we recommend is vitamin C. Now, there's oral, so you can just get the regular oral stuff. And like, here's my piece on supplements, by the way. Don't get the cheap stuff. All these studies that say Americans, piss out millions of dollars of vitamins every year. It's usually the cheap stuff. So, and by the way, I just got to say it. Please don't tell me you take it's just like a Centrum 1 or whatever, like multivitamin. It's not going to work. You have to take a decent vitamin C. And if y'all need help, just like try to reach out to us at Meeting Point Health or whatever. We can email you recommendations for what vitamin C you should take. In addition to oral, there's also something called liposomal. So our liposomes are actually organelles within. Liposomal means lipid affecting. And so anyway, it's a more cellular version of C. And then the final version of vitamin C I talked about is this idea of IV vitamin C. IV as an intravenous, as in you get an IV when you go to the hospital. So there are some of us, including Meeting Point Health, that administer vitamins in an IV. It's actually quite easy. Just just give you an IV, and there's vitamin C in the bag hanging, and your body's getting boosted with vitamin C as a result of that.
I was going to stop you on that because that's funny, because I was talking to Heather about that. And, I would like to get some more information on that. And I think
Sure,
I've known Charlotte, looking at her, she probably want to know some information about that too as
sure,
well.
sure,
But all those vitamins, like if you could do me a favor, like going forward, I would love to post something about that. These
sure,
are immune boosting vitamins and minerals that I think that you guys
sure,
can get. Like I
sure.
like the whole thing you talked about with vitamin C. Don't get the cheap stuff. You know,
That's right.
Centrum vitamins. You know, that's okay. And it's not about making money here. It's about
No,
what's the most for you to take. And I mean, it is what it is. There's a difference between, no offense, but like, you know, Mercedes Benz and a Honda. So like, it is what it
absolutely.
is. So like,
Yeah,
you
absolutely,
know, I know
absolutely,
there is a difference between vitamins. So if you could do that for
absolutely.
me, Doc, get that
Yeah,
information.
yeah, yeah,
That's a common
yeah.
thing that
So
comes up.
we'll definitely post a list uh of resources on the right vitamins to take to boost your immune system. Absolutely. Oh, what's this? Do we have questions?
Uh
Oh,
oh.
should we pause and recognize these questions? This is,
You
I'll be
could.
honest, as much. What's
Can
the
you see
best
it?
kind to get, and how much should we be taking? Yeah. So yeah, so we recommend a particular product that is once again this liposomal vitamin C. Um, there's a there's a company that we work with called Full Scripts, where we can actually it's not something that you can get. You can get liposomal. Um, so here's where my shame. Okay, I need to properly spell liposomal. Let me try it. I suck at spelling, so sorry. I did go through medical school, by the way, but
I was gonna
L
say,
I
call your
P
wife. She'd
O
bail you
S
out.
O M. I know, I know. So I think it's Liposomal, liposomal. All right. And so I do think that they sell it on Amazon, if I understand. But once again, as far as reliability, we're picky about what products we recommend. So, so if anybody listening, and in the dose, once again, a maintenance dose right now is going to be 2 grams. So that's 2,000 milligrams. So you'll see a lot of products have like 100 milligrams, and if it's just by itself, it's probably not enough. And I don't recommend gummies because usually the gummies have some degree of high fructose corn syrup or corn syrup or rice syrup or something like that in there, and it kind of offsets it. So, and also I don't think that you get as much good absorption. Um, so so that's so if anybody is interested, by the way, if it's all right, Aaron, they can email us at hello@meetingpointhealth.com. That's our clinic, and obviously we have our website too. They can reach out to us that way at meetingpointhealth.com, and we can actually send them if they give us we can actually send them through the email, like even a link to the right products they want with all of this, and they just like Amazon, I get shipped to the house. So I think that's probably the best way to go with all this.
I'm cool with that. I have no
Yeah,
problem with that.
yeah. I mean, like, that would probably be the best way. Honestly, we're Whole Foods does carry a pretty good selection of supplements. To be honest, I'm a fan of what they carry. Um, right now, getting into Whole Foods, involves a 20-minute line like Disney World. So, good luck with that. Uh, so yeah,
Shoot.
so vitamin C is at the top of my list. But I also want to say, I don't like to just recommend one thing. I like to do things in concert. We're talking about healthy living and exercise and supplementation. It's part of a whole program, right? So if you do all this, you can feel pretty confident about your immune system and your health. The next one that's really low hanging fruit is vitamin D. Now, most of us know that we get vitamin D from the sun. Now, that's going to be affected by a few things. So, number one is time of year, by the way. So even though the sun's out and it's springtime, we're still not till at least later in May. We're still not getting those direct rays that it's really going to give us enough vitamin D. to boost our levels. But if you get out, and the other thing is you pretty much need to be like, you know, skin exposed basically to get enough vitamin D. And we're not going to get enough of that right now. I don't think too many people are, running shirtless right now. So
You don't think so?
well, I haven't been, so but anyway,
the breaks, you'll see.
yeah, it's a little chilly. Now the other thing is latitude. So Florida is going to have more vitamin D if you go outside than we are here. So that makes a difference. The other thing is skin color. So those of us that are darker need more sun than someone that's not as dark. So
I got a question. So you're
yeah,
saying like during the times, like right now, we don't get a lot of sun. You think this is the time that we need to take more vitamin D?
Absolutely.
And I was actually
Yeah.
talking to one of my clients, and she's actually she was saying that she has to take it because if not, like everything is off.
So
actually Indian, so like
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and she was explaining that to me, and she was like, "Oh, I have to take vitamin D. My husband knows."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. So
Especially for somebody like me that is
yeah, I dig it. I'm dark too, man. My peeps are from Africa too. My family's from Egypt, so like,
yeah,
my ancestors were out in the sun, doing whatever, and then, my parents upped and left and brought my genes over to Pennsylvania. Like I need more sun too. So
I hear you.
so and I gotta tell you, we do some comprehensive lab testing at our office, and I check it. I can't tell you, people I know that are like super healthy, like these, like, athletes, like folks that are your gym and other gyms, and they're like eating well and all this stuff. And I check a vitamin D level and they're low. So if someone does check your vitamin D level, there's two things. Number one, it's almost always low. Number two, like there's a range, right? So it's supposed to be between normal is supposed to be between, they'll either say 30 and 90, 30 and 80, something like that, was a normal range. And what's crazy is that 30 is like only enough for you to not be diseased, by the way. They say less than 30 involves disease. Less than 20 is like organ dysfunction. We're saying like you can hurt your brain by being less than 20. I mean, I can't tell you how many folks I've seen less than 20. It's scary. And a lot of like seasonal affective disorder and stuff like that is as a result just of low vitamin D. You just like get their vitamin D up and they're fine, which is, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if we're supposed to be out in the sun and we're not, but your immune system is one of the biggest things that is affected by vitamin D. And once again, of course, this time of year, and if your vitamin D is low, it's really, and just as a supplement, there's research now. Once again, there's folks advocating vitamin D right now to boost your immune system. Wink, wink. So, and even I believe it was the former president of the CDC even came out with a tweet and said, and tweet to an article that tied in vitamin D with COVID-19. So we're even having folks in at that level that are recommending it and seeing its benefits. So folks are going to ask how much and all this stuff as well, which is very viable questions. And by the way, another thing, milk does not have enough vitamin D. Usually there's about, so vitamin D doesn't come in milligrams per se. It comes in IUs, international units. So milk has like 200 international units. Someone's like, oh, I don't need vitamin D. I drink plenty of milk, and so number one, be careful about that. Number two, 200 units is like spitting in the ocean. Like, so we usually recommend about 5,000 international units. And so that's a decent maintenance dose, about 5,000 international units. Now, if someone did check your labs and you're less than that and you need that boosted, then I sometimes even go up on that. And as doctors, we can actually prescribe, and it's usually covered by insurance, 50,000 international units once a week, and that's a pretty healthy dose, and it usually gets us up pretty good. So um, so and the same thing, we talked about supplements with everything else, but about 5,000 international units is important. The other thing you got to be careful if you do like 10,000 a day. The one thing you got to be careful is there's this weird thing where too much vitamin D actually makes your blood calcium levels go up. So there's another supplement called K1 and K2, vitamin K1 and K2, that you kind of have to take. So a good supplement with vitamin D will have about 4,000 or 5,000 of vitamin D, and then it'll also have K1 and K2. So you can also get it from, I believe, kelp and cod liver oil. Cod liver oil usually has vitamin D in it, but it's not. Yeah. Some people love that, man. Some people love that
Yeah,
stuff.
my grandmother used to do that back in the day.
Yeah, some people love that stuff.
It's nasty.
And then I got at least 2 more supplements and then what I call bonus points. So so the other one is zinc. So I've actually been a big fan of zinc for a number of years. I've been recommending, anytime these are supplements if we talked a year ago on like, oh, how do we boost our immunity for the flu? I'd be like vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. So zinc is it's real easy. A lot of us, with our standard American diets are actually zinc deficient. So zinc is actually very necessary for proper immune function, basically. I don't have a straight up recommendation on the dosage. If you're doing about 10 milligrams of zinc, that's probably, and it's called chelated zinc. So that should be good. Honestly, if you can find it, this is one of the ones, if you can find it, just take whatever. Cold Ease, those lozenges, that actually has zinc in it. So that's an okay version. It does also have sugar in it all the way as well, by the way, in the lozenge. You can also do the spray, but zinc is really powerful. Another side note is this, and we won't get into it because this is a whole nother thing, but this hydroxychloroquine, this prescription that is all over the news and whatnot, that it is BTW being used in other countries successfully for the virus. It actually works by helping your body hold on to its zinc and not dumping it out. So they say if you use hydroxychloroquine plus zinc, so hydroxychloroquine, otherwise known as Plaquenil, is prescription only. But if you did get it and use in combination with zinc, they're saying that's a super powerful way. But zinc, you can get over the counter. That's not something that, do that in a time like right now, but I don't necessarily say that someone needs to take zinc every day, by the way. Like, I don't know that that's always necessary unless you're found to be zinc deficient. All right, another super important one is melatonin. So your body normally produces melatonin at night to help us sleep. So there's this whole concept of circadian rhythm. So let's talk about, when I was in Africa and, there was a generator, but, lights are out when it's dark for the most part. In those times, your body, when lights are out, okay, there's no more sun, and your retina isn't recognizing that blue light. Our body boosts not natural melatonin, and then when you wake up, melatonin goes down so that we can wake up, right? So melatonin is something naturally produced in the body. So the reason I talk about blue light and the sun and circadian rhythm is that an easy way to lower melatonin is by too much blue light before bed, we say. So this screen, so I'm right in front of my iPad. This is my cell phone. These lights that allow us to see the LCD screen or whatever it is, OLED, at night is actually using the same wavelength of light that the sun does. So your retina don't know the difference between the sunlight and the screen that you're staring at. And so if we're right in front of our phones right before bed, our melatonin is going to be lower, and that actually affects our immunity as well. And so there's a lot of research during this time showing that low melatonin very much affects your immunity and very much affects your risk for COVID-19. Once again, side note, I want to be super careful. This is not verified. I confirm this is not verified. But if anyone's been in New York and spend, a night or a vacation in New York, there is a ton of light pollution there. And that is part of my fear about what's going on over there, is that their melatonin, besides the fact that I think that they're obviously really poor sleep. So once again, we're talking about what we can do and how we can boost our immune system. So something very important, and we've been trying, this is really tough right now. This is like, because like, once again, like we're all inside and like, night, day, who cares? I'm going to be in front of my phone. So, but be really careful right now on how much blue light before bed. You can also try, just in case somebody doesn't know, there's, if you swipe down and you hold this button, there's this whole like night mode and this dark mode, and that will essentially like decrease some of that, but just still be careful. Yeah. So that's on your phones and iPads, even like, the laptops. I think some of the newer operating systems have that, and there's even a software called FLUX that you can download that will basically decrease the blue light coming off of the screen. So, but there is melatonin supplementation. Normally, I'm not a big fan, but if this is something that is an issue for you, you may want to try in low dose, like 3 milligrams of melatonin before bed in this time, if we're trying to boost it. But I'm a bigger fan of like being careful about how much blue light we're exposed to. Cool. And then, all right. So the other thing I want to talk about, and this kind of goes back to exercise, is this idea of lymphatic flow. So one of the problems with just like sitting around all the time is that your body has this stuff called lymph. So lymph is actually one of the ways that white blood cells in your immune system is transported throughout your body. So lymph actually sits in your fascia. So you have skin, then you have fascia, then you have muscle, then you have fascia. So fascia kind of keeps everything together. So you actually need good lymphatic flow in order for your body's immune system to work properly. Okay. So some people may have heard of like lymphatic massages and stuff like that. This is what I'm talking about. Now, Aaron, what do you think is the best way to get good lymphatic flow?
As far as like with the exercise?
Exercise is the answer. That's right. Yeah. So there's a couple, so exercise in general, and just by moving, particularly with exercise. And we actually have these things called lymphatic pumps in the body. So like the bottom of your feet and behind your knees, and what's called the pelvic floor, your diaphragm, and then up near your shoulders, we have these pumps that kind of help this lymphatic flow. And so that's how exercise actually helps our lymphatic flow. This is also another area that the SARS-CoV-2 virus preys upon, is weak lymphatic flow. So moving and getting up and exercising, and helping lymphatic flow is super important during this time. Um, and yeah, absolutely. And then the final thing, that I've been a big fan of it. So this is a really stressful time. And this is, honestly, I'll be totally honest, I just got into this. Like, I feel like I'm late to the party, but I have been doing mind body meditation, which it's even tough to hear myself say that. Not that it's a great thing, but stress. So the problem with stress is that it triggers your fight or flight system, right? And your fight or flight system actually uses your adrenal glands and actually boosts cortisol. So this is what we want. Cortisol is supposed to be a good thing, because if there's a tiger, your body needs cortisol, because one of the things that cortisol does is, what's it do? It gets your heart pumping real fast, because you need blood flow, because you need blood flow to your legs, because you need to run away from that tiger. And it also needs sugar. So your body, cortisol actually gets your body to do what's called gluconeogenesis. It actually gets sugar in the bloodstream, and that helps us so that we can get it can get glucose to the muscle so we can keep running. Yeah. But the downfall of cortisol is that, and this is the same thing with prednisone, any what we call glucocorticoids, is that it actually decreases your immune system. So stress is really bad for your immune system. Now, exercise is a great way to decrease stress. And there's also supplements and stuff like that to decrease stress. Better sleep decreases stress also, by the way.
Right.
But finally, so this is where mind body meditation, mindfulness meditation, and you know, I've found that during this time, I'm almost surprised about how chill I have been. I'll be honest. Like, if you would have asked, 1 year ago, Steve, like how he would have handled this, he'd be like, "No, you're gonna freak out, man." But I actually had just gotten into it right before all of this, which I'm very thankful for. And it's really been, I do 15 minutes when I wake up in the morning. Sometimes I do it a couple times out throughout the day, and then again at night. I do use Headspace. I think it's a great app. There's also another one called Calm. There's for those of us of the faith, there's one called Abide, which I think is really nice. So I actually use all three of them.
I've used Calm, and then Audible has a couple good ones, like 21-day, 10-day meditation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Morning meditation. I also have an AM, PM meditation. Me
Nice.
personally, I try to meditate before I get up in the morning, and then I'm trying to do twice a day, which is freaking hard.
Yeah. I know.
To kind of calm myself down, especially now when you're in the house and it's kind of hard for you to turn yourself on and turn yourself off. Having a difficult time with that. But, just probably in closing, because probably can end this soon, but, I learned a lot of information on here. I was texting back and forth with Charlotte because we have to do work at the same time. And, she took a lot of the information. She really liked it. And I know going forward, we could try to do some more of these things, because
we can do it again. Yeah, we can do it again. Definitely.
I got this.
This was great.
I can give it to you if you need it.
Sure.
But, I think it's always good to have somebody, one, that they trust. And when they trust them, then they'll definitely take the information. I think one of the issues is with the internet is there's so much information, and it's an overflow of the information. You don't know which one is which. And, we can have our opinion on it and so on. And I guess sometimes people want to take a person that they trust and then listen to their information too, as well. So, I usually always call you first anyway if I have an issue or I have a problem, because I know you're not going to BS with me or tell me something I don't want to hear. So you're going to tell me what it is. So I appreciate your time. We definitely got to do this again. Let me know
definitely.
if you need anything, and I got you. we're going to help each other through this craziness.
That's right, man. That's right, man. Anytime I need to vent, I'm going to call you again. Good
Where
stuff, man.
we help each other get through this, because this isn't, being small business owners, one, is really, really hard. And then also just, the uncertainty of not knowing what's going on. And this law is this law, and we're going to break through, we can't do this tomorrow. I don't know. So it's hard. And
It's too much.
I think we're going to get out of this. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I hate saying that, but I think we're going to learn from these experiences. And that's what this whole thing is. Somebody asked us a question. This is a big learning.
Someone just said, thank you. I think it was a thank you for the info. Thank you. So, yeah. I really hope this is helpful for people.
Right.
And I do definitely, we got to do another one of these. This was good. It was good for me. I've been, honestly, I've been dying to get this message out. I hope people, get something out of it. Right. Yeah. Thank you for.
If you got a platform too you want us to use, we can do that too as well. So I appreciate it.
Okay. No, this was good. This is good. All right, Aaron. Thank you.
Not a problem. Have a good one.